All right, what's up, guys? So in this stream, I got a bunch of stuff in my pockets right now. I'm trying to get out, but in this stream, we're going to be talking about null-ls. We're going to be talking about LSP settings, and we're going to be talking about a few other things. And I started that on the wrong monitor. All right, so let's see. Yeah, so null-ls. The LSP settings, I haven't really shown this stuff working super well because it's always broken during the streams, but I think now it's basically ready. It's ready for showtime. Also, I'll be reading chats. If people want to come in, you know, say anything, whatever, questions, the usual. So let's take a look at what we have now. So this is what we currently have with null-ls, and I guess I'll start with null-ls. And how it relates to LunarVim and how I have it set up. So if we go into repos, and I'll make this a little bit bigger, I guess the first thing I should show you is what do we have active right now. So what we can do is we can go to config lvim. We can open up the lv config here, and we see some options. You'll notice that instead of O, we now have lvim here, and I think it's just a little bit more communicative about like what this object is, right? You can still set it equal to O. You can just say O equals lvim if that's how you want to do things, but yeah, so there's that. So let's do something like this. Let's do lvim.lang dot, and then we're going to pick a language. We're going to pick Python, right? And then we're going to say, okay, well, what do we want our formatter to be? And by default, it's black, but in the future, I think by default, it'll be nothing. And so we just have black here, right? So that's set equal to that. And then we're going to just do .lang like this, and we're going to do Python. Hopefully this all works, and you know, I'm not lying to you. So we'll do this, and then we'll just set that equal to flake 8 like that. All right, so for Python, we want our formatter to format with black, and we want the linter to be flake 8. Obviously, we're going to be getting pyrite as well because, you know, we can just always do lsp install Python, and what that does is it pulls down pyrite. We already have that though, so no need. So now what we'll do is we'll go into repos, and this is just an example for Python. It should work. I'll also show an example for local prettier and all that kind of stuff working with with JavaScript. So okay, let's go into to-do list here, and we'll just open up main.py. Okay, so you'll notice that we don't have, and also this virtual text, right? So maybe we also kind of want that not to be here. So we'll do lvim dot, and then we'll do lsp dot diagnostics dot virtual text equals false. All right, and then we'll just close this and reopen it. And now you can see we can just do GL over top of things. I'll turn on my thing here. Usually when you guys see LunarVim, it's totally broken. But right now, everything works as expected. So there you go. So now we can just do GL over top of things, and we can see the line diagnostic that we want, right? And so that's less cluttered. I like that a lot better. Now, what we'll do is we'll actually conda activate to do so that we do have those libraries available to us. So now we'll reopen main.py. You'll notice that we don't have any errors up here anymore about libraries not being available to us because the virtual environment's active. We still have errors here because of the type checking with pyrite. So what we can do is in lv config, what we can actually do, I'm pretty sure, is we could just do n-lsp. Well, you could do it here. Might as well do it here. So n-lsp, and then we'll do config, and I guess, okay, argument is required. So let's go back up. And we got to choose a language, right? Now, we already have one. You won't have to do this every single time, but, you know, the first time that you do this, you'll have to do this. Now, we're going to go down to pyrite, and then here we have this. So you'll see one setting I have in here is python.analysis type checking equals basic. What I can do is I can just set it to be off. And the LSP actually knows that that's an option. So if I go like this, it's going to say basic, off, or strict. And so I'm just going to set it to be off so that I don't get that error anymore. Okay, open this back up, I don't get that error anymore. Not only that, but if you go back into that file, and we'll just go into that file over here, it'll be under LSP settings in your lvim directory. You can open up pyrite.json, and then you can just start typing pyrite or Python or whatever you want. You can do analysis, auto import completions, auto search paths, diagnostic mode, extra paths that you want to add, use library code for types, all these kinds of things. you know, like you can do all this, right? And then it'll have like different things like this that you can put in here as well. So it knows if that's like a Boolean, which would be like true or false, right? But we'll get rid of that for now because we don't need it. Right now it had an error because I have to get rid of that comma. All right. So there you go. So those are the settings that we have for our LSP that is Pyrite. Now the other thing is, you remember we set up black and we set up Flake 8, right? So now if you go to the bottom here, we have a line here. We'll make this bigger, where there's an X. You can see the X is over here, and you can see like what the problem is. We did GL. Apparently it's too long, right? So I guess like if we did something like this, it would, I don't know, like, I don't know exactly how we would handle this. But anyway, it's too long, right? So we would just break it up. So if we save, black actually is not set up to do those, like to handle that many lines, right? But we know black is also here because if I do something like this and I save, oh wait, black isn't here. Is black not, well, black may not be available on our path right now, so let's check. No, black is available on the path. So let's see what is happening then. I wonder if that's available. So close. So we do also have a problem here with, so we know Flake 8 worked, but now we're wondering, okay, how come the formatter didn't work? So let's go find out. What was that? Anyway, let's see. So I guess black should be one of the things that works. So let's go back over here. Black, formatters, black. Oh, .exe for formatters. There you go. And that has to be like that. Problem with here is formatter. Okay, Python dot formatter dot exe. And the problem with that is error while calling chunk, blah, 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 blah. Attempt to index field formatter a string value. That's because I set it equal to that before. That's exactly why that's happening. No big deal. Okay, so now if we open this back up, there won't be a problem because I set it equal to black by accident. So you need to set this to formatter.exe. Now when you come back in here, we'll just close and we'll reopen this, right? And now if we save, it fixes it. So you just got to make sure to get your path right when you do that, and I just didn't. So you can do space LF, and that will do it. And then also you can just save, and that'll do that. Now obviously we still have this problem here because Flake 8 thinks this line is too long, right? And these are things you can pass, like, you know, you can put a .flake8 in this directory and just make sure that, like, you know, just like a .eslinrc or something like that, or prettier RC or something like that, right? And that's how you can kind of handle how long you want these lines to be. Same with black. You can just say black, make sure that lines are cut off like at, you know, whatever, 79 characters, who knows. So there is all that. So we went over how we can change Pyrite settings, how we can set up Flake 8 and black pretty easily. Black looked a little bit weird because I did formatter, and that was a little bit weird. But that's fine. Maybe we'll even revisit that API at some point. What's up, Santiago? What's up, Bill Shack? Hatsu, what's going on? How do you use globals in Lua? I don't understand how to make them work. You just set anything equal to anything without a local, and then it's a global. Perfect timing. Started streaming as I woke up. Well, what time did you wake up? 7 p.m.? What's up, Luxus? What's going on, Max? What's up, Brian? Null-ls. Yeah, null-ls works really great. I'll try to explain it a little bit better. Is the setting work in NeoVim too? Do I need COC or LSP or both for NeoVim? You don't need COC. LSP is kind of like this concept that's like built into NeoVim now, so you don't need COC. So anyway, so now let's go back over here, and you can see like, okay, all of that worked. That kind of all worked like as expected for the most part. We just got our thing wrong, right? And we said the formatter equal to a string, and then blah blah blah, and messed that up. But no big deal, because when we set the executable to black, then it's fine. In the future, we might support things like I almost feel like, yeah, it's a little bit confusing to have the .exe there, but I think that's probably still the best way to do it. It's the weird thing is passing arguments for these kinds of things in like your text editor. I feel like that's not really the job of your text editor for the most part. I mean, I guess it could be, but ultimately it's, in my opinion, better to have project-specific config for things like linters and formatters. So, but anyway. The other thing is we'll talk about plugins here. So you can see that things are renamed. Now, if I save this, okay, it installs both of those plugins and sets them up pretty much immediately. So if I do something like require and do like the, require and then open like that, you can see we got the little panda here now and it opens up this little box. I think people, you know, they expressed interest in having that. So we got LVim plugins just like that. We also have Tokyo Night now because you can see like, okay, we brought in folks Tokyo Night right here. All we had to do was save this file with that there. And then now we can search color schemes. And then if we could do Tokyo Night and we have Tokyo Night, I think I've showed that before. I think after this, we'll go take a look at a few other things. I also have another color schemes repo here. So we could do LunarVim. Color schemes with like that. I don't think it's .nvim. I think it's just color schemes like that. Maybe I should call it like .nvim or something. And we'll save that and come back in. Expected something. We probably didn't put something that we needed here. Missing a symbol. Yeah, it's this. So it tried to warn us. Okay. So now we can do something like dark. I think it's underscore plus, or is it just dark plus? I can't remember. I think it might just be dark plus like that. Had to install it first. There we go. So now we have dark plus. I really like this theme. I don't know. It's just the one I kind of like wrote the most code in with my life. So let's see. It's 4 a.m. there. Interesting. Jeez. Either you get up really early or you stay up really late. It's pronounced Brian. Okay, Brian. I always call you Brian. Brian. I'll try to remember that. 1 a.m. there. Okay. Is null that much faster than Diagnostics LS? Diagnostics LS shouldn't even be a thing anymore. There's no need for that as far as I know. But is it that much faster than that? I think if you have to install that as a binary and it lives outside process, then yeah. Like it's an outside process, then yeah, probably. 9 a.m. here in Australia. Oh, you're one of them upside down people. All right, I know what it is. I'm just happy to see it come in LunarVim. Yeah. I hate the null-ls fails silently. It would be nice if there's an option to make it complain. What would you want to see complain, like if your formatter or whatever didn't hook up, right? I kind of like that it fails silently, honestly. Midnight in Ireland. Interesting. Ireland, Germany, Australia. What's up, M1 says, I don't know how to say that. Some people have usernames that it's hard for you to say. So plan just to wait for Lunarline to fix the color scheme not changing with the theme. Yeah, we're working on what the smartest way to do that will be. null-ls is OP. I'm already using it with LunarVim on local. Yeah, it's kind of the best thing. Tried to use Angular LSP today. How to find out the correct file type settings. I have no idea for that. I don't use that. LSP Saga is kind of dated at this point. I wouldn't use LSP Saga. Was old init.vim better? No. Oh, wow, we can monopolize Twitch chat. Yeah, there's very few people in the Twitch that even know I stream on Twitch. I think most people show up on YouTube. So anyway, basically that was it. I mean, that was kind of the demo that I had planned for the most part. There's really not much else to really even show because that's basically everything. But another thing that I will show for the JavaScript people out there is if we go to this project here and we open up source index.js, you'll notice that, okay, we have ESLint working, but where is ESLint working from is the question, right? So here's how you know. I don't have ESLint installed globally, right? So if we go inside of node-modules.bin, it's actually using the ESLint that's in here. This will work for ESLint D, Prettier D. It'll work for Prettier D Slim. It'll work for everything that's in node modules. right? So it'll always go and check in node modules for stuff like that, the important, front end stuff. So that works. So like if you just open up index.js, you got this. Here's how you can make, prettier fight, right, with everything. So here's what we can just make, like, ESLint happy about this line, and the error goes away. We don't have a diagnostic. But then if we save, prettier comes back and it says, no, I want double quotes and, a semicolon. So you have to make sure that your linter and your formatter are in sync, or else, you're going to end up with complaints like this all the time. So, but yeah, you can see that I'm using local prettier from node modules, and I'm using ESLint from node modules, which was a big ask from our front end friends, and that works fine. So that's nice. What else? And you can just see how that's like already hooked up and set up. Like ESLint just works, right? You can turn it off if you want. We're gonna actually ship with all these things off, and then you'll actually just have to ask for them. And we're just gonna put usage flags and comments and stuff like that at the top. So yeah. Let's see. So, bro, how can I implement the LSP of kite to NVim? That should be really easy. That's like stupid easy almost. It shouldn't be hard at all. You just have to set up a language server implementation for it, and then that's it, right? I mean, like at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure kite implements the language server protocol. I'm just gonna call him Michael because I don't know how to say MJL Bach, so I'll just call him MJ. Didn't MJ say that null-ls is a huge hack while MVim implements the diagnostics API into core? When the diagnostics API gets into core, then I won't use null-ls. But it's, you know what? If null-ls is a huge hack, it's a hack that works very, very well right now. It makes debugging tricky when you don't know what the issue is. It would be nice if it says the built-in formatter you're trying to use doesn't make sense. Yeah, maybe it would. Maybe it would. Maybe it would. I don't know. Just like a nice print or something like that. How do you get the diagnostics to show up in a pop-up menu instead of virtual text? Well, it's a two-part process. So one thing you'll notice is that in LunarVim, all you have to do is you just set this equal, like virtual text equal to false. If you want it on, obviously, you'll set it equal to true, and it'll turn on. What is that actually doing? If you go into, we're going to need to go take a look at the config. So if you go into, let's make this nice and big. If you go into .local share LunarVim, cd lvim, and we open up, let's just open up init.lua so you can see from init.lua, we would go to lua, lsp, init.lua. I would need to refactor this file, but ignore like basically all of this until you find a function that says setup handlers, right? And so we have handlers in here for things like publishing diagnostics, hovering, and signature help, right? And so, for instance, like hovering, like if I do this, I get this border. Why do I get this border? Because it's got this pop-up border thing right there, right? And so you can see, like, in handlers, what's in handlers? Hover, publish diagnostics, signature help, and execute command. I have no idea what execute command does, but hover is what I'm doing exactly right this second. Signature help is if I'm inside one of these guys here and there's no signature available, but you could try and get the signature from inside of a function, I guess. I'm surprised there's no signature available for this. Like if I go here, no. With, yeah, oh well. Anyway, so okay, so no signature available for that. And if we do this hover, we get that. But then there's one other one, which is publishing diagnostics. And so if you set this like this, and if you just set virtual text equal to false right here, so if you do vim lsp with vim diagnostic dot on publish diagnostics, and that's just built in. And so if you pass that to the handler, you can pass virtual text, signs, and underline. So that stuff won't happen, right? So you can just make this false. That's what I'm doing when I'm doing this false. Now, how do I get the GL? The GL comes from this command right here. So what I'm doing is I'm saying in normal mode, the command GL, right? And then I'm saying the command lua vim.lsp.diagnostic.show line diagnostic and show header false, otherwise you'll get a little header there. and then I ask for just the standard single border, and that's what gives me the border as well. We also say that it's no remap, and then we also give it silent so that it doesn't say anything at the bottom. And that's how you do that. Hey, what's up, Jackson? So yeah, so that's basically how you would do that. That's how you get rid of the annoying ass virtual text. That's even with LunarVim how you can toggle it on and off. Problem with LSP and stuff like that though is, as far as I know, is it's not very easy for. I think it should be. It's not super hard. I don't think it would be. But I don't. I think you after you change it, you got to like go back and restart the LSP. So if you want the virtual text to be on and off, you can't toggle it, hot toggle it. As far as I know, like you have to turn the LSP off, then you have to turn it back on. Is LunarVim good for C and C++ programming? Yeah, I think so. So if we go into config and this is all in the like the only stuff I really have for C programming right now. But if we just open up dwm.c, you know, look at this. So you can see like, okay, it says includes are not sorted properly. It's letting me know that it actually can't even find this library as far as I know. So this is linting. I think it's using Clang Tidy or something like that. This is I think it's a C. What kind of file is this? Yeah, this is just plain C. I'm pretty sure it's using Clang Tidy for the diagnostics. I'm not sure. That might be built in. I don't know what that's coming from, but it's coming from something from LunarVim. It's also giving you this error here and whatever, and then also we can save, and it'll format everything, and it formats everything very, very fast. So I don't format stuff in this file because I like the way that it's formatted. It kind of came this way. But yeah, you got that. And then like if we go down here and we start typing like type, you know, all these kinds of things, right? We can get this, right? So it'll give me like a snippet completion for type def there, whatever, right? We can do, you know, like whatever, right? Like you can get your const, you can get all this kind of completion. We defined button earlier, so we have button right here. It knows about it. I don't like that it's kind of going off the screen right now, but why is that going so far over there? I have no freaking idea, but you can see I need to reset this whole menu right here. This menu, I need to make sure it can only get so big because whatever this is really stupid. But you can see these enum members and all this kind of stuff, right? Like you can, it has full context on the project right now. You can also do things like I think it's under main, you could get this snippet. So like, there you go. There's int main, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, so you got your diagnostics, you got your formatter, you got your autocomplete, you got your pretty much everything. And then also you can do something like this. You could do n-lsp config, and then you can say like, actually no, it doesn't support C and C++ yet, but in the future you'll be able to just do C, and then you'll be able to pass all kinds of settings to the language server so you can get the experience that you want. That'll be in the future. So I hope that's helpful. Do IDEs use different language servers? Some do. Well, some don't use language servers in the sense that like LSP, right? Like they do their own thing. And those IDEs will either die or learn to accept language server protocol. Or at least have the language server protocol as their base and build something on the top of it because there's no reason not to. Let's see. So what branch of Lunar am I on? I'm on new contract, and that's going to be merged into rolling today, and then once we suss out the bugs there, then we're going to merge that into master, and then once all the bugs are gone, then I'm going to move LunarVim over to the LunarVim organization, and then I'm just going to write documentation for it, I think. It's really mostly done. Like this is already a great stable config to build on. You guys don't even realize how much you can do in the LVim folder too. You have your own Lua folder there. You have the LV config. You have your own FT plugins, all the same stuff, right? After, plugin, whatever you want. You can install all your own plugins. You can turn anything from LunarVim pretty much off and not even use it. And you can fully configure all of your language servers for the most of your language servers with the NLSP stuff, but nothing stopping you from setting a settings thing and then just not getting that awesome autocomplete stuff. So yeah. Anyway, Clang format. Yeah, I think that's what we're using is Clang format, but I'm not sure. Hey, Chris, I can't seem to find if there are defaults for navigating buffers like that. Is there anything? Oh, yeah, Shift H, and is it J? I think it's H and K. I think it's H and K. No, H and L. So Shift H and L shoot you in different directions for the buffers. Depends on what you define as an IDE. VS Code uses language server IDs, like IntelliJ and Eclipse use their own. Yeah, they use whatever they use. I don't know. It's because there's a very large line in the menu. I think you noticed. Yeah, but why is that? I don't know why that line was there. I think the completion width can be configured with pum height. Yeah, but isn't that height? Isn't that up and down? Isn't that like this way? Why would it? Can I do pum width? Right. This is like Doom for NeoVim. Yeah, in a sense, I guess there is Doom and Vim though. Will you show us how peak definition works? Yeah, so, all right, I guess I don't have this problem anymore. So you could do this. Let me show you like this. Can we get this? Why can we not get hover on this? I feel like we should be able to get hover on this. TS server is started. Why does hover not work? No hover? That's odd. Might be that my TS, well, no, TS server should be started for this. Oh, wait, what is the... It's like, okay, this is... Wait, it's TS server, but it's pointing at Pyrite. So let's go look at Python. I'll fix that in a minute. So, and this is the small bugs we're gonna just iron out, but we'll go to to-do list. I'll show you what he's talking about. So if we lvim open main, right? What he's talking about is like we can do hover like this. This is first, right? And then you could press Shift K again and jump into your hover, right? And then you can like kind of move around this line, right? So then we press Q to get out of that. So Shift K again, and you can be in your hover. Another thing you can do, and this is kind of good, but it's missing something in my opinion. So if we do this, we could do that. All right, let's see if we can find one. I guess Fast API is a good one. So then if we do GP on top of it, okay, we can actually preview Fast API, right? We can preview this class. So this is the file, like it's the buffer. It's like in a window here, and like it loads it into the window, and this is the file that has all of the Fast API stuff and it is the code file for Fast API, right? So we do GP again, we actually jump into it. Here's what I don't like. I don't like that I can't like just explore it in here, right? It just kind of cuts me off, right? And I can't go down. If I could go down, I would be really, really happy. This would be the coolest feature, but I can't do that. So, but yeah, anyway, GP is still cool because like if you want to get a quick hover, what I think it's useful for is like maybe this like doing something like a class. So like I use this in like Java, like I'll just like jump, like I'll hover the Pojo or something like that, and I'll go, oh, okay, it has a user, it has a task, a created date, due date, tags, whatever. Obviously this is in the same file that I'm in right now, but you can imagine I'm in a different file and I'm like, okay, what does this item class look like, right? And so that's what that's good for. Let's see. Do you need to merge LV rename too? What's LV rename? I don't know what LV rename is. I might just be missing it though. I forget things a lot. 3 Johns in chat. Yeah, I have an idea on how to replace null-ls in Galaxy Line. I think it would look neat. Replace it in Galaxy Line? Interesting. Yeah, let me know. That guy speaking Chinese. I don't know what he's saying. Yeah, but John without the H. Yeah. Do French use the C with the little thingy hanging too? Or are you speaking in Portuguese? I thought it was Chinese. So anyway, is there going to be a null-ls push on rolling today? Yeah, all that stuff's going on rolling. I agree with you. It'd be nice if it's possible to move around the peak definition window. Yeah, if we could get that, that would be awesome. It's another branch in advance of rolling. I will take a look at it. Oh, LV rename is something we already did, I think. So LV rename is this, and it's going to break everything for everybody, but it's the last time it's going to break everything. Like, it's going to be the last big break for people, right? LVim, like this object, instead of the big O that we used to have, O is the global object. Yeah, well, O is no longer the global object. LVim is the global object. And so if you want to do something LunarVim specific, you do LVim. You can do your auto commands, built-in stuff. You can do like auto pairs, tree sitter, all this kind of stuff. You can change things about it. We can do color scheme, completion, your data. I don't even know what the database is good for. Format on save, you can turn off. There's this thing with keys. You can set keys, I guess. Language specific stuff. So if you do lang.c.formatter.exe and then set it equal to, you can set it equal to like, whatever formatter you want. So like that object's going to be LVim now. Same with like plugins, like you'll do lvim.plugins. That way like they're LVim kind of specific. So LV rename is already done. We can close that branch. I think Rebuilt did that on the new contract branch. Is the LSP config now different than on the master branch? Because there's lots of LSP configs left in the LSP folder. Yeah, it's way different. Master is a mess right now. It's not good. After doing GP twice, can you GD? That would be cool. I don't know. Can you do that? Let's find out. So if we do GP, and then if we do like GD, no, I don't think you can. Well, it's right there. That is the definition. So wait, maybe you can. Like if we were here and we did GD, that should take us to the item or something. Or this would take us to app, or if we went over top of it like this. Yeah, it would be really cool if you could do that and just drill in all the way in there and not leave your file. That would be very comfy. Because that jumps you there, that jumps you to base model. So then it would be like if I could do GP, and then jump on base model. But no, you can't do that. Thought I am not going to contribute to such an advanced project. Going through your workflows, improving my software development. Yeah. I mean, if you're, I think LunarVim will improve a lot of people's kind of flow for what they want with NeoVim, where they want to have native NeoVim or they want to have native Vim, but they also don't want to lose all the awesome IDE stuff they're accustomed to, whether it be using something like IntelliJ or even just VS Code or something like that, And, this is a lot closer to VS Code, but with a lot of other cool things you can really do with the communities building stuff in Lua like crazy. So, we can do a reverse lookup to see what linter is hooked into null-ls and print it in the status line. That would be awesome. That's a good idea. Put Flake 8 down there and put all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, if you have a PR for that, wait till I get this into rolling, because I'm about to merge it into rolling and put a PR out for that. That would be awesome. Because then you can see Flake 8, Black, all that stuff. Yeah, that would be really cool. Hatsu's got the best ideas. Let's see. So, all right. I'm probably gonna merge it. Put it in rolling. No more Windows 10 and VS Code for me. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, that's awesome. Good. We got it, dude. Microsoft, by the way, if you don't know this, owns your whole life right now. If you're writing code for the most part, so a lot of you probably. Well, maybe not a lot of my audience, but a lot of people. So okay, you boot up your Windows 10. Then you open your VS Code. Then you keep all your projects on GitHub. Then you just GitHub Copilot write all your code for you, while you could just sit there and sip tea and talk to Cortana or something, right? All the while, everything you type, everything you say, everything you do is just being sent to the Windows servers, right? And they just keylog everything you do. God forbid you use the Edge browser. LSP is Microsoft based as well, but at least LSP, the concept of it is just it's just an open source concept. For instance, you don't have to write your LSP in like it doesn't have to be done through Node. It doesn't have to be done like written in JavaScript. It doesn't have to be, you know what I mean? Like it's just a protocol. So like you can do it however you want. I'm not saying Microsoft doesn't contribute good technology. Obviously, there's, you know, genius level software developers over at Microsoft. What I am saying is that the push to just, there's nothing wrong with the engineers there. There's something wrong at a level above, right? There's a lot wrong. Well, there's something wrong with the engineers of Windows and Internet Explorer. But there's you know, there's something wrong above that, right? Where these people are stealing your data and keeping you in they're monopolizing software development. Why the hell should one company monopolize all of where the code is stored, pretty much 90% of the IDE text editor market, where they have Visual Studio, MVS Code, and all that stuff, and 90% of the operating system market share as well? Like, people just, like, you know, stop being herded into, you know what I mean? Like, get out. Leave fast. You know? Yeah, like all FANG companies, man. And it's just like, well, it's not fair competition anymore. You have to remember, like, the government regulates the shit out of everybody else. And then they have so much money that because they don't have to pay taxes that they can just buy GitHub. GitHub used to be its own thing. You know what I mean? They used to have the Atom text editor. Does anyone remember the Atom text editor that they totally said they weren't going to kill? It was the most popular editor. It was editor redefined. It was like, that was going to be it. It was going to be Atom that everyone was going to use. And then along comes VS Code, and then Microsoft buys GitHub. And then, because I don't know if you knew that, no, I would never leave Comcast. Comcast has none of those problems. They're a completely moral company. Anyway, so, you know, all I'm saying is they did kill Atom, right? And so Microsoft has this idea of, like, you know, kind of like, you know, like they show up somewhere and then they just kind of merge with the thing and then they eat it and then they like kill it or whatever the thing was, you know. I will have to drop from this call. Good luck with the null-ls implementation. Hopefully you don't end in endless pain again. No endless pain today. We're good. We're going to merge this into rolling and we're going to be happy. Yes, it's true. Also, they're good at buying the good stuff. I think LSP was also not completely invented there. It probably wasn't, but, you know, whatever. The Atom Vim plugin was amazing. Well, now we can just do regular NeoVim, and we don't even need to be in some piece of shit Electron, you know, thing that is just like a giant mess. You know, I would rather not use Electron for my text editor anyway. You know? I'd rather just be in my terminal and do stuff like that. Or just use something like NeoVide or something like that if I want a front-end client. So yeah, I think we're good. Now, basically, I showed you kind of, you know, how all this stuff's going to be working. I think it works really, really, really well now. It's very snappy. It seems very stable at this point. Obviously, there's small bugs. One small bug was that TS server thing. So let's solve that really fast. So, and we're going to be able to solve our problems today. We're not going to run into a bunch of problems today, which is going to be great. Another thing is, actually, let's go take a look at null-ls, because ABZ coding has a thing out. This is BF Riedl's thing. Why he forked this? I guess just to fix things or whatever. But yeah, no, ABZ has a feature branch out, and it says add extra formatters, and he added Clang format, Uncrustify, whatever the hell that is, Bean format, CMake, Crystal, DFMT, Dart, all these formatters, Go formatters, PHP formatters, JSON, Ruby, you know, Terraform, everything, right? So we have all those formatters, hoping that this gets merged, and then we can do the linters as well. And then all of this stuff will just be built into null-ls, and you won't have to really do anything to support this stuff. You'll just ask for it, you know what I mean? You'll just say, hey, null-ls, I'd like to use Flake 8. I'd like to use Clang format. I'd like to use whatever, right? There's not that many formatting tools and stuff where I think it's actually an unreasonable ask. Like, I think it's actually a very reasonable ask. Like, you can think, like, okay, ABZ did this in one file, and it probably only took him, like, maybe an hour. to implement this. It's just the same function called over and over and over again. You know, it's just like, here's m.perl tidy. It's make a built-in. Pass it the command, pass it the arguments. To standard in, true. You know what I mean? Same with these. It's just like the same thing over and over again. Give me the file type I'm going to run it on. Give me the command. Give me the base arguments I need to run. To standard input. True. There you go. You know? So that's basically all it is. So you could easily, if you want to add support for your thing over at null-ls, you could put a PR in and do that. I'm just hoping it gets to merging that hopefully soon, because that'll really help us out. Yeah, that guy's a nut job. He's able to write a lot of code very fast. But yeah. Capitalism leads to efficiency. Join us, Chris. Join us. Buy stuff or give us your data, or even better, both. Yeah, no. Not that I'm like some giant anti-capitalism person. I'm certainly not. I'm certainly not some weird, freaky, blue hair communist person either. It's funny because I feel like a lot of those people love the big tech companies and stuff too, and then it's just like, but it's just such an unholy marriage, you know, between all that stuff. It's like all the worst. The worst of capitalism meets the worst of communism. Does null-ls replace what EFM does? Yes, it does. Yeah, null-ls is the best, man. I love it too. It actually works really great. So yeah. Anyway, so that's null-ls. We were going to do the LSP config thing. So let's do that. Let's do LSP config. I think I'm actually getting this BlockFi card, by the way, soon. I want to get that. I'm on the waiting list. LSP config. Let's see. NVim, yeah. That should basically get us what we want. And if we go to config.md, this is where all the good stuff is. You can just skip reading all the documentation. You don't need to read any of the documentation, right? But no, you should definitely read the documentation. But this is where all of the language server config lives. And what we want to do is we actually want to point to this here. And we don't want to change any of that stuff. We're just going to take this guy. And we're just going to have to make sure to do it under LSP install too. So where am I right now? Okay, this is, which one is this? PWD. Yeah, we're not going to be able to update this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to go update the one in repos, LunarVim. And we're going to open up, what am I going to open up? Lua, default config. And what are we looking for? We're looking for something. JavaScript and TS server, yeah. There we go. So this is JavaScript, TS server, and we're looking at the .bin for Pyrite. What we actually should be looking for is something like this. The stdio thing is fine. So what we're gonna do is just delete that. And then we're also gonna get rid of these, I guess. Like that, and then we'll delete this and this and this, and yeah, and then we'll just put this guy there like that. And then this one's under Python, but what should it actually be under? Let's go into .local share nvim lsp install, and it should be under TypeScript. And node modules.bin, yeah. So okay, TypeScript. All right, now TS server should actually be TS server and point to a serious binary. Your your DWM config looks similar to Luke Smith's. Coincidence or not? DWM is just code that already exists. So if it looks similar to Luke Smith's, you don't actually even change anything in DWM.c. So everyone's DWM.c looks basically like everybody else's DWM.c, depending on what kind of patches you put in there. So it's, if it's a coincidence, it's because it's the same. It is the same one, or at least it started the same way, right? Maybe it's because, unless you're talking to, if my DWM, like this DWM, or because these are all my own colors and stupid things, except for actually this is from DT's repos, I think, actually, the little bar here that's not even clickable. Let's see. Maybe it's because DWM is not like, yeah, I mean, you can kind of. Default config, no surprise. Yeah. Nah, I don't think they look the same at all. It depends. I mean, a lot of people just can only get so far with their DWM stuff and then they quit because it's such a pain in the ass. Let's see. Oh, by the way, could you check if there's any significant memory usage, blah, 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 memory usage increase with null-ls and maybe prettier since null-ls operates only in memory? I'll keep an eye on it, but then again, like, I don't know what is a lot of memory for while I'm streaming to 2 different services and, you know, working on things, and I have browsers open in the other monitor that you can't see, so I'll try to keep an eye on it. What do I do for debugging? Well, honestly, I don't do anything special for debugging. I don't get people who debug. Like, I don't, like, I've been solving computer problems for a very long time without a proper debugger, and I don't think I'm ever, like, seriously gonna need one. I don't know. Like, some people, I guess, need them. Some people, I do print statements and I think about why the thing is broken. I was listening to TJ's podcast thing from SourceGraph, and they were talking to the guy, I think I don't remember his first name. I think it was Brandon Hashimoto or something like that. He's from HashiCorp. And they asked him if he, like, what he used for debugging. And he was just like, yeah, I think, and, like, print statements. And I'm like, yeah, I knew, like, other people did that too. It's nice to hear that, like, this guy who has, like, a whole ass company and is obviously really good at writing code, that's how he does it too. He doesn't, like, have some weird debugger thing. Is programming my main hobby? I'd say so. Yeah, probably. I think so. Yeah, I just console log everywhere, yeah. Mitchell, is that his name? Mitchell. I want to say Brandon. Why do I want to say Brandon? TJ was on the, like, it is a podcast done by SourceGraph, which is a company that he works for. So he wasn't, like, on it, I guess. Like, he was doing the podcast, I guess. I've been watching too many YouTube videos. I should follow your example and actually create stuff. Yeah, just make shit, because that's why I don't really watch anything. I'll pop into TJ's stuff every now and then, just because, like, it's relevant to what I'm doing, you know, and so, like, if he changes something or does something, like, I kind of usually want to know about it. But for the most part, it's just me writing my own code and then doing my own streams and making my own videos and working on my own websites and stuff like that. I don't really watch TV or anything. So, like, a lot of people, like, well, why would you even work on a LunarVim config? Like, I don't understand why you would waste your time like that, bro. And it's just like, dude, you're coming from usually the same guy who will sit around and watch Marvel movies all day long, or whatever kind of new nonsense they have on TV or Netflix. You'll sit around and do that all day, but me writing code and doing things that's actually interesting is, like, a waste of time. When you need GDB, then you need GDB. You can also use GDB UI or something like that. Yeah, I don't write enough C, I guess, to where that becomes, like, an issue for me. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely recommend making YouTube videos. Like, I recommend making YouTube videos, making a blog. I don't recommend just making a blog, though, because no one will find it. You need some sort of online presence on the platforms where people already are, and then you can funnel them to your blog, and then your blog just funnels people to other online presence places. And that's kind of how you should do that. Hi, Chris. Really thankful for your work. Just to mention, I had a hard time with Lunar performance. Every time I opened my Mac, screaming, and everything started freezing. I tired to found the problem. I don't know if it's something to test the performance to figure out what causes the problem. I'm so sad that I can't use it. Any advice? I guess wait until... What language are you working in? Because what this tells me, it's probably not a LunarVim problem. It's probably not. But I can look into it. It might be the LSP problem. It might. I don't know what your specs are. So let me know what your specs are. Let me know what language you're trying to do, and then maybe I could have better advice. Anyway, so no one's here right now from my core team for LunarVim. And if nobody is here to argue with me, that I'm just going to merge this stuff. I'm going to merge this stuff into rolling, and I'm going to break it for a lot of people. And the reason I'm going to break it is that what they're going to need to do, and this is the last time I'm going to do that, is they're going to need to change all the O's to LVim, and they're just going to make sure they're using the right stuff. Now let's just make sure the TS server still works and a few other things, and nothing's like outwardly broken or anything like that. Because this is the last big change it's really going to happen, so it might as well, happen the right way for the most part. There's not a lot of other extra stuff I really have to do, though. Sometimes some Neko, I lose the ability to do things. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I was just on the wrong line. I don't know why it won't let me do it on this line, too, though. Can you get, like, a range? Whoops. Like, get the... It'd be nice to, like, get the range of, like, all diagnostics and then just, like, do GL, and then it just gives you just the diagnostics in that scope. That'd be kind of nice. JavaScript, React, and Node. All right. So let's take a look at some of that. Well, we just... Did I update that anywhere? One second. So if we go into... No. If we go into... Oh yeah, LunarVim here. Update TS server path. All right. Nothing breaks. Repos. We want to go into this guy. We can open up source index.js. All right. So now we got null server and TS server running. So if we go like this, okay, we get our hover with everything. This is me using TS server. I don't, like, if you look at my RAM usage up here, it doesn't look like anything like went up drastically. I might went up like 0.1. No, not even. It's back down to 6.2. So, I mean, I'm opening up a relatively small project. This is a JSX, which we don't have anything set up for, so that's going to behave that way. If we come back into here, if we go into, like, I don't know, components, and we open up another one. What's the problem here? Definition for this was not found. That could be because no explicit any was not found. Definition for rule. Oh, I think that's from ESLint. I think it's from ESLint. Yeah. Oh, interesting. If I try to save, it'll say select a language server for you to do the save. So we'll use null-ls there. I wonder, hold up a second. When I come in here, well, that's fine, but what if I do something like this? Okay, yeah, that's fine. So it's just asking me for a language server to format with. So we want to get rid of that. That's something we're going to have to talk about. But then again, we can easily do that. So like if we do an LSP config, and then if we do I don't know, what would it be? What would it be under? Did they have it set up for this yet? Kotlin, source kit, JSON, Julia, Terraform, Rust Analyzer. It doesn't look like they actually have anything set up yet for what you call it. So we're gonna have to see if we can get that implemented. It shouldn't be hard. You just have to create a spec and just pop it in there. So we would just turn off the formatter. Where am I from originally? South Jersey and Philadelphia. I've been told I sound like I'm from there too. Test performance to figure out what causes the problem. Yeah, I'm not really sure because I'm not seeing it. I'll have to keep taking a look at it. By the way, I saw you commented out the Scala LSP in the new contract branch. Can you bring that back before you merge? So here's the reason I did that. What you have now is the ability to add whatever you want to your LV config, right? So you can easily add extra. It looked like Scala, and I don't know, this is just from like my cursory, and here's the thing, I use Java every single day, JDTLS. There's an extra helper plugin for JDTLS from Matthias, right? That is better for this, but I don't have it included in LunarVim because I don't want that plugin in base LunarVim. But here's the thing, you can pull that into LV config, then you can go to your own stuff and you can just use it there. You know, like you don't have to put that into the base because there might be a better Scala plugin in the future. I just want to use lsp-config for everything. So if there was Scala access here, then I would do that. Now let's see, there's metals. But it looks like there's a good amount of work that goes into metals. If we could do, and this is why I'm leaving it on rolling and not putting it directly into master right away, because we got to solve this kind of stuff. So first we're going to solve this. So like for instance, this one says if you're using mvim metals, that plugin fully handles setup of metals, and you shouldn't set up metals both with it and lsp-config. So what we want to do is we want to set up the basic metals for lsp-config for Scala, right? And of course it's from the Java family, so it's a giant pain in the ass to set up. And what we'll do instead of doing this is, well, we'll set up the base one, right, for LunarVim. And then what you can do is you can install mvim metals, override the one that LunarVim uses, because we're just going to give that base support, and then you can have the Scala setup that you want. And the reason it's better to do it this way is because not everybody needs that extra plugin for Scala. But what you can do is you can just go into config, LVim, right? And you can open up your LV config and you can just go down into plugins. You can add that mvim metals here, right? And here's the other thing. This thing is the same as your NeoVim directory. So you can do a make dir lua. You can do a make dir ft plugin. Right? You can go into ft plugin and you could make one for Scala in here and you could do everything that you need to do, right? And then we'll just give the base support. I got rid of a lot of the special language plugins. So I got rid of them for LaTeX. I got rid of the one for Java. I got rid of the one for Rust. I got rid of all of those because they should be brought in by the user, in my opinion, to add extra language server stuff, if you know what I mean. So that's the idea behind that. I wanted to include a shortcut in which key for a terminal at the bottom of the screen, like the one you used to have in MV code. Is that possible now, or should I also include a plugin? You can change anything you want for which key. So you can make whatever key binding you want in which key with the LV config. Maybe I'll show that later when I do the documentation, but it should be easy to do. You just get the mappings off of which key and set whatever you want. So with null-ls, we can remove formatter, nvim, and nvimlet and just handle everything with null-ls. Yeah, I already did that. Formatter query, PR should solve this. That's awesome. How Italian am I? Actually, not that Italian. I think I'm more Hungarian and Irish than I am Italian, but I got the Italian last name somehow. So I guess I'm kind of Italian. Probably a really dumb question, but how do you get your error diagnostics in color? Mine keep being white. Yeah, this is something Folks thing I think fixes. I'll tell you what that is though. If we go to, for instance, if we go to my repos and we go into color schemes, and then if we open up a template that I have in here for color schemes, we open up dark plus, for instance, and if we look up LSP, you'll see these are all the highlight groups for LSP, and you're going to need to set all these highlight groups or else they're going to be white and they're not going to be colorful. So yeah, that's the reason why you're using a color scheme that doesn't set those, and it's probably an old color scheme. Let's see. Your personal config lives outside of the LVim files. You meant your fork. No, your personal config lives in LVim. The way this works now. So your personal config goes in LVim. You can put everything there. LVim is a separate thing now. LVim, NVim. LVim, NVim. Right? You want to configure NVim, you go into NVim, which I don't even have on my system right now. You want to configure LVim, you go into config, LVim, and you do all the stuff there. Like all of this is you. I don't touch this. This is completely you, right? I don't put anything there. Where I put things is in .local, share, LunarVim, and then LVim in there. This is the stuff you don't touch that just pulls down. It's hidden from you anyway, so you can't touch it. Everything in the LVim directory and .config is all you. Such that when breaking changes are introed, we don't necessarily need to slow our productivity, not to mention our bigger changes that don't need to be stashed into rolling on our machines. Yeah, the smallest amount of code that we can have in LunarVim, the better. Like the smallest amount of plugins, the smallest amount of code, the smallest amount of everything. What color scheme am I using? Dark plus. How about PyLSP, pip install Python blah 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 for ZSH users? I'm not sure. I don't think we support PyLSP. Using Groovebox, you're probably using an older Groovebox. Look for, there's so many implementations of Groovebox anymore. Go look for Groovebox that has LSP stuff and tree sitter stuff. Actually, there's one in MV code color schemes. You could grab that one. It's on my repo, in my repos under my GitHub profile. You can look up MV code color schemes. You'll find Groovebox in there. I'm pretty sure that one has the LSP stuff. I can't be sure though. You should check the template. I like the decision about the LSP configs. Just let the users add what they need. I think so. Okay, well the docs explain how to set that up. A big draw to LunarVim was that I didn't have to learn and configure how to set up LSPs. Yes. So here's how that's going to work. When, for instance, you want to do Scala, what you're going to do is you're going to go to lunarvim.org. That doesn't even have HTTPS right now. But in the future, it'll have HTTPS, and then it'll be set up correctly. You'll go to languages. You'll click Scala. This is Java right now. It'll tell you exactly what to do. And I'll even put a video for you in the future. So you're basically just going to go in here. Now, regular Scala will work. The Scala that comes with LSP config, we're going to get that so it works. But if you want all the extra Scala, MVim Scala special stuff, then you're going to come here and you're going to see there's two options. You can use what we provide, or you can use this plugin, this extra plugin. It just is going to take some time for me to get around to documentation. Once this stuff is all, everybody's happy with it, then I can, go do that. What's up, Roger? When do we at someone is referring to someone. When we do at someone, it is referring to someone, not you. Oh, I know that, but I just like to read the chats, and sometimes I miss that when I'm going through and reading them. Anyway, I recently installed the LunarVim rolling, but when I tried to use tab for change, I'm trying to read so many things, so sometimes I miss that. But when I try to use tab for change buffers, it doesn't work. I uncommented the tab and S-tab, but it still doesn't work. Rolling doesn't work that way. What you use now for that is Shift-H and Shift-L. Because imagine going and clicking Shift-Tab. Put your fingers on Shift-Tab. That doesn't work, right? It's not good. Tab is good, but Shift-Tab is not good for it's not ergonomic, right? So if you do Shift-H, it'll take you left. If you do Shift L, it'll take you right. And that's how you do that. And you can move between tabs. It's a better way to move between tabs. What was my first editor? I don't know. Probably idle for Python, maybe. I think I learned C++ before Python, but I forget what I used to write C++. I totally forget what I used. I used something, some weird IDE for school, but I can't even remember what it was. Let's see. Do I know what's planned for 0.6? No, not really. I haven't paid attention yet. Utilizing git work tree, so any breaking changes don't break the user's personal config, assuming people are unrolling. I don't use work trees, so I don't know enough about it. I was struggling keeping my config up to date with LunarVim, so can't wait to start using this. How is which key handled with default custom config? I'll show you. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, might as well just give you an example here. We'll get out of this. We'll come over here. Let's load that, whatever it is. And now let's say we want to add something to which key. So which key is a built-in, so we'll do lvim.built-in.whichkey.mappings, okay? And then there's all these mappings. So you could grab a mapping that's already there, or you can just set your own. So we'll just say that now, I don't think I have one for A, and we could just say that A is equal to, and then we need like a mapping, we need like the mapping thing. You know, we need to know what that's going to look like. So really fast, let's just jump over to which key and jump up here, and we'll just grab one of these guys, like, I don't know, no, we'll set it equal to find files from Telescope, right? So all right, let's put that there. We'll go like this, like that, and I don't think we need this, right? So now A is equal to the command find files Telescope, right? And what it does is it finds a file. Okay, fine. So we'll do Control Q, we'll get rid of that, we'll reopen this, we'll do space A, and you'll see that, well, we'll do space first, and you can see A is find file. I just press A, and now I'm in finding file mode, right? So that's how easy it is to add your own thing. You just literally do that, right? If you want it to be nested, you could do GA, for instance. That'll put it under the Git stuff that we already have there. So we do space G, and then you can see A is now under there, and it's called find file. And you press A, and there you go. So that's how you can add your own, and then imagine you want to get rid of one, right? So we'll do space, and we'll get rid of F, because now we have find files GA for whatever stupid reason. Pretty sure if we just go and do this, and then we swap this to F, and then we'll do change to false, I think. Right, something may have just errored there. Invalid mapping false. There's got to be a better way. Maybe it's not false. Maybe it's nil. Okay, maybe it's nil. And then now if we do space, oh no, it still has that though. I feel like it should override it somehow. We're gonna have to think about that, but that's at least how you can add your own, so there is that. Code blocks. Oh. Do you still have VS Code installed? If so, is it the proprietary open source version? I do have, I think, Codium installed. Yeah, I have Codium. So Codium's here. I usually just use it to look at color schemes. But no, I don't use VS Code. I don't need it anymore. For example, I use Jupyter a lot. Yeah, if you use Jupyter a lot, it's hard to do this stuff. You can see key map functions in the README. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess there's more stuff in the README about key map functions that I don't know about. So anyway, that's this stuff. I'm probably going to just merge this stuff into rolling, and then we're just going to fix everything in rolling. If you signed up for rolling, you signed up for changes that could potentially break things. But the question is, what is this? Just add extra plugins. You don't want to, I'm just noticing this. Right now it's o.user plugins and o.user keybinds. In the future, it's going to be lvim.plugins. That's what this is going to say. So, for instance, like, I know he doesn't want me reading his chats, but if you look at this, so in like literally by the end of today for plugins, it's going to be called LVim plugins, okay? And that's how you're going to do it. And that's how it's going to be forever. It's never going to change. It's never going to be something different. But I needed to come up with a contract that wasn't just some stupid ham-fisted thing that I had before that actually made more sense. So now you know everything is namespaced under LVim, and then you're like, okay, these are LVim, and what are these? These are the plugins. All right, good. These are lvim.autocommands. Okay, this is lvim.language.python. I'm changing something with LVim in the language called Python for the formatter and the executable. Same with linters, blah 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 blah. Right. For instance, LVim, a built-in dashboard, terminal, mvim tree, so on and so forth. Right. So yeah. What else? Breaking changes will be likely to not happen. Well, they'll be very likely to not happen anymore. If we anything after we get the new contract perfectly done and rolling, we'll only be doing additive changes. We're not going to be doing any changes that break anything you already have. That's kind of the idea. Oh, it's in the LV config. Okay. I use Jupyter a lot as well. I wish it could be Node with Jupyter Notebook as well. Yeah. Yeah. So when this all gets into master and when 1.0 comes out, nothing is going to change. It's going to be the same thing every day, day in, day out. Nothing's just going to like break on you. It's just going to be this is just how it works. These are a few commands. This is the leader. I guess these are keys here, but it doesn't say anything about the leader key or anything like that. Maybe it's got something like that down there, but whatever. So yeah. So basically null-ls works. All this stuff works. TS server works. Few things are broken, like Python debugging and Scala, LaTeX, maybe a couple other things. But we're going to fix that all in rolling. We're going to make sure people are going to come in. They're going to have their issues. We're going to fix them once and for all. That's how it's going to work. And then I will be able to make videos, put them on the website, and you'll see how to configure everything and how everything works. And then we can just start, spending a lot of time contributing to other plugins in the ecosystem, especially the ones that LunarVim uses, and stuff like that, All right. So I'm probably just going to merge this. I'm going to pull rolling into and we're just going to see how that goes and whatever. And again, everyone right now is an alpha tester, so everyone's just like, man, I can't, why do things break? And it's like, well, because this, like, I didn't even really, like, advertise this thing as, like, something that works. And it was ultimately, like, it's still very much in development, so. But I will advertise it after this as being, there will be, like, 90% of things will not change now. Like 90% of things are not going to be changing. So if we get pull origin rolling here. Okay, we're already up to date. That's good. And this is, where am I right now? PWD, I'm in here. Okay, we're actually going to want to go into repos, LunarVim. Pull rolling just in case. Okay, good. So yeah, let's just go put the PR in. Does this support Java with Gradle? I don't have a project with Gradle to test on. Maybe it does. I guess I don't really know. It should support Maven though. I know for sure. There you go. So it supports Maven for Java. So Java just starts up. You know. For some reason I don't get diagnostics with Java. I have no idea why. At least with the regular Java. I mean, I could probably find out. Let's go. But like you do get things like auto import. So like if we do that and then we do like @spring boot application and we do that, we get that. So it's pretty good. Java support is good. It's not amazing. It's not IntelliJ, but it's good. It works. It's the best Java support you're probably going to see in any NeoVim config anywhere, especially when I get JDTLS set up and do like a video on that. So yeah. Now let's go into, I just want to check this really fast. Well, we'll go here to test it out. Lua, default config, Java. I don't know why it doesn't publish diagnostics sometimes. It doesn't seem to have a problem here. I don't know. Anyway. Hot take, we probably don't need Telescope in core. That is a hot take. How come? I feel like what I want LunarVim to do is give people the IDE experience out of the box, right? So I think you do need a fuzzy searcher out of the box, in my opinion. But technically you don't, it doesn't need to be there, but then again, like what does need to be there then, right? Like definitely LSP, definitely tree sitter. Maybe you could make the argument that MVim tree, well, MVim tree, so much work goes into MVim tree to make sure that it sits there and is good that I can't imagine not continuing to use it. But yeah, I don't know. Should I keep Telescope? I don't know. I think I'm going to keep Telescope. So, at least for now. It seems like something that should be there, in my opinion. All right, well, I'm going to probably get off soon. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the PR out. I'm going to wait for someone who cares to comment on it, and we're going to try and get this in. So anyway, do I have new mentions? It's in the mod lounge. Can't click on that right now. So anyway, check out the website. All the social media is up there. Check me out over on Odyssey, Twitter. I don't really tweet that often. Let's see. LunarVim.org. It'll be a lot more interesting when I can finally get around to writing docs for it. You can support me over on Patreon. I would appreciate it. Twitch. Some people watch me on Twitch. Stream on Twitch. And obviously LunarVim has an organization now. The way to find the organization is by going to my profile and coming down here and clicking on organizations, clicking on LunarVim. And then LunarVim's just on my GitHub right now. Eventually it'll be in the organization. And if you're interested in the branch that I'm looking at right now, it's called New Contract. And that's the one I'm going to put the PR out for. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to share and talk about. I think we should be good. I think I'm gonna put out the PR. If anyone has anything they want to say about it, you can read through the PR, and it should be out like probably 10 minutes after I end the stream. So I will see you guys in the next one.